Yay, Abneet is
Yay.
here with me today. Welcome, everyone. We were in the middle of doing this amazing meditation, and then, I don't know, I think like our energies together just like disrupted.
It's like exploded.
I know. And anyway, we're back and we're here for you. And hopefully, Abneet will take us through a lovely meditation or something like that at the end of this call because it was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, talk to us, nourished woman, about the nourished
Yes.
woman and what it's like to be fully feminine embodied.
First, thank you so much, Adera, for creating this platform and allowing women to come on and share their mission with the world. We really do need more exposure, and this is just one of a beautiful way that you're doing this. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So the nourished woman was birthed from a place of seeing how disconnected women are these days from their bodies, right? And also just feeling like their energy is constantly scattered, attention is constantly pulled in many different directions. And like you spoke to it earlier, Adera, about I like to call it a hyper masculinity because it's kind of the world that we grew up in. That was what was valued. Um, you know, production and doing is often valued over being. So the nourished woman is really just birthed from that place of seeing so many women just burnt out, and not really truly happy in their deep feminine heart. If you were to actually have a one-on-one conversation with them, it's wonderful to be a boss babe and kick ass in the world today.
And hustle,
but not at the expense of knowing what it means to be powerful in your feminine heart. Because as a feminine identified being, that is what we crave. We crave to be surrendered in our heart. We crave to feel that different type of feminine leadership that we unfortunately don't have too many models of right now on a global scale right now.
That's right. Yeah. And that's my mission, to bring that to the forefront and have more of those leaders. So thank you for this one. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So I think it's confusing because we feel the burnout and we feel the tug in our heart that like this possibly isn't the way to like sustain our well-being. And yet we're not sure how to switch over because I think we worry, especially financially, how that's going to work because it's like a different energy field that we'd be working with.
Yeah. So it's not either or. It's about coming back into balance. So when we just, go into that energy, into that feminine consciousness that is permeating everything, we don't have to make it up. It's just more of an unshedding and letting go of identities and habits and thoughts of belief, contractions that are not who we really are. They're coping mechanisms that we've taken on due to childhood trauma, due to just, again, what the world values and just getting by. The beautiful thing is when you really tap into the body through the feminine, everything actually begins to flow. You become the queen of ease. So this whole thing of, I got to figure it out, I got to muscle my way through it, that starts to dissipate because there's this kind of archetype that's being unveiled, right? There's an archetype of the Empress. There's a archetype that is in the field, but it's allowing it back in, or like I said, unveiling it. And there can be still a lot of productivity. There can be, but without that masculine over pushing, hyper masculine over pushing, overdoing, hard work, like you said, hustle. It doesn't need to be that way. There's a different way where there's can be an ease and a flow, and in balance with our masculine, we can get all of our work completed.
Okay, if anyone has any questions for us, please do ask them because we are live and we could do that. But okay, so I love that. It's so true. How did you find your feminine, or how did you find the flow for you to be able to?
Yes. So I, like many of the people watching and like many of the people I know, was totally in, over hyper masculine, focused on also focusing on the external a lot. So something I did a live on this on my Facebook a couple of days ago, and I want to just drop it here again. Femininity is not a performance. Femininity is an inside job. Reconnecting to your feminine is not about looking a certain way, or performance, which again is something that has been taught to us by the media,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's something I was doing a lot a couple years ago. I was living in South Korea, Seoul, as a teacher. I was living the rock star life, and I was completely burnt out, but was afraid to admit it. I was an alcoholic at that time. And I was just pushing myself so hard to be all the things to everybody and really keep up appearances as well. I mean, it was great. I had a wonderful time, but I was disconnected from my intuition. I was really
Mm-hmm.
grasping outside for that validation. And also, South Korea, Seoul, it's a city that they really value. Like, they have the best work ethic. People often say about Seoul, they have the best work ethic. People are dying.
Mm.
People are committing suicide because the level of pressure is too high,
Yep.
So I felt that as well. And eventually when I left there, I did do a plant medicine ceremony. And after that, Adera, it was like my life could have gone this way, but it
Mm-hmm.
went this way.
Mm-hmm.
And with that came the truth that I have to live in my truth. Like, it's do or die now. Like, I can choose to wear a mask and be what other people want me to be. But if I take the road less traveled, it's going to be a little challenging because now I'm living openly in my sensitivity,
Right.
So,
Yes. Which is a vulnerable place to be.
which is a vulnerable place to be. And honestly, Adara, the initiation, I like to call it the initiation into the feminine,
Mm.
happened when I started working with a group of people called the Awakening Women's Institute. They do retreats and beautiful trainings all over the world, and they're a wonderful group, really deep in the more of a yogic Indian tradition, but they do goddess archetype study. That's when I got initiated. That's when I met the Indian goddess archetypes from my own lineage from a white woman. I always laugh about that. I'm like, what a,
Yeah.
what a crazy world we live in. But I mean, it's
Truly.
beautiful. If you're committed and you can teach it to me, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when I was at a festival, I had a really powerful experience of stepping away from the group of women that I was with and just basically being semi-nude and going totally into the festival stage. And I just surrendered to my body.
Mm.
I completely surrendered to what my body wanted to do, and I didn't care anymore what people thought. And the deepest pleasure of my life flooded up from my feet, up my thighs, up through my breasts, and through my third eye. That was the initiation.
Well, I don't think many people have done that before.
But it's available. It's
Yeah,
available.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. I hear you.
I know. And this is the thing is like, we're so shut off or even, not able to even process the idea of doing these things because they're so socially unacceptable or they're just
Mm,
so socially or ingrained in us that that's not what we're to do.
yeah.
And it really is these huge blocks that don't allow us just to experience life and like to experience
Mhm.
what it could feel like to have different sensations, right, within our own being, instead of working with drugs or other
Yes.
hallucinogenics to get
Yeah.
these feelings. Like I know when I come out of a Kundalini yoga class that's like on fire, it's like I'm high. I'm high on
I know. I just did it 2 days ago. I know exactly what you're talking about.
the best, and like of course you can't like stay in that state, but like
Yeah.
how you transform as a human being when you've had those
Yeah.
experiences, right?
So that's so beautiful. I want to talk about day-to-day integration. So often many of us on this new to the spiritual scene or even deep in it, we have these peak experiences, right? Whether it's Kundalini, whether it's an ayahuasca experience, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get unplugged,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what I want to speak to is, and what the Awakening Women's Institute taught me is, one foot in the circle, one foot out. So
Mm.
what that means is you don't have to unplug. That is actually something that we're just habitually, it's like a muscular reaction. It's something we can train ourselves to not do anymore. And we can just train to keep a little bit of the body still open. And through the practice, I'll show you at the end today with the group as well. It's like, if we do these, it's just like brushing your teeth. It's like, just because I had a really good brush cleaning one day, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it again for a week.
Exactly.
we call that in the Indian tradition, like we call that awakening the Shakti, or like wake working with stagnant energy, because we are earth, we are cyclical, we have seasons, so
Mhm.
we can't ignore that. And if it's only us who's keeping us in that box. So if we start to sync back with earth's seasons, we understand, oh, I got to do something every day. That's in Punjabi, we say that's my jimmevari. That means that's my sacred duty. That's my sacred
Mhm.
responsibility. If I can't do that for myself, if I can't metaphorically brush the teeth of my soul every day, like, then I'm gonna feel stuck. I'm gonna feel going right back into my old habits that make me feel in my hypermasculine.
Mhm.
So it does require a little bit of focus, intention, and discipline.
Hmm. And I was just saying to a girlfriend the other day, it's not only just in our beliefs either, it has to really be embodied. And that's what I
It
love
really
about
does.
like your teachings and mine as
Yeah.
well. It's like you really can't just believe it. Like you really gotta vibe it, you know, and that's a
Yeah.
whole other set of work. And even when you want to, you know, want to release some weight or whatever, you go to the gym and you just don't release it and then it's gone. It's like you got to keep working at it. And it's the same with our
Yes.
spiritual practice and your teeth brushing. Like it's not like you did it once and all of a sudden you're awake and you know your whole life changes. No, it's like you have to keep daily, you know,
Yeah.
hitting the I like to say sort of that we're in this I call myself like an app. So you know I'm always trying to like update my app all the time, otherwise I'm like
Yes.
the older version of it, right? So
Yeah.
if that is true, then yeah, I have to keep
Yeah.
refining
All the time.
and evolving. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and but that can actually be not a. It doesn't have to be this, right? Because then again, we have such that tendency of the mind to make things difficult and hard. That practice, whatever it is for you that gets you into your body every morning, even for 5 minutes, can be deeply pleasurable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
beautiful.
know,
Yeah, mine
I
is
think
like,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I was just going to
Go
say
ahead.
mine was like a full on little dance party by myself for like 10, 15 minutes, right? And it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like just because our job, I believe, is to get the heart to really be speaking to us and then the mind to
Mm.
follow what the heart is saying. And often my day is spent with my mind running the show and my heart just trying to like say a couple words of like, what are we doing here,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
It takes a lot of, I don't know if that's the masculine and the feminine trying to work together, but um, it's practice to keep kind of coming back to yourself, embodying, you know, the ways that you want to feel and the things that you want to be doing, and then operating your system to keep working you to that goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you mentioned the heart, Adera. That's the heart's intelligence is the electromagnetic field of the heart is far surpasses the brain. And also coming back into our guts. I love to talk about the guts, like our
Mm-hmm.
in Taoism, they speak a lot about the Tanjin and this area, this solar plexus area, and how much wisdom it holds as well. So you'll see in, you know, in a lot of the things I post, a lot of the things I talk about, the practices, it's about coming back down into your belly. You know, as women, we have so much hatred towards our belly. A lot of us do, wanting it to be flat, wanting it to be like this. And it's like, no, no, no. The belly is open, is opening like a peony flower. And then even going deeper into your pelvis, into your whole pelvic region.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women hold a lot of tension there as well.
Absolutely.
So
And
when
anger.
and anger, and there is a way to channel holy rage. And there is a way that your rage has a rightful place, and that, you know, a lot of us women, we hold the rage
Oh,
in
jaw.
our jaw. You
Yeah.
can often see when a woman's kind of in really in her hypermasculine is like she'll you'll start to sense and see the tension in the jaw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so one of the beautiful things when the work I do with women is you'll start to your whole face will start to soften and glow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of the breast massage we do together in the programs, because of the peony pelvis breathing we do, also getting into the feet. If you look at the ancient goddess statues from like thousands of years ago, they are holding the gravity in their body differently. It's not a macho man position. It's in the feet, it's in the pelvis, it's in the hips, it's in the thighs, it's in the belly. So when you bring the energy down, I often use the upside down triangle. You're bringing the energy down. You're descending into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, you brought up so many things for me there, but primarily, I just like the idea of people playing with this. I know what I was going to say.
Mm.
It was that we're so constantly, and me included, but I keep reminding myself that it's not true, but we're constantly seeking outside of ourselves all the time for not even validation, but for experience
Yeah.
and for travel and like all these things that we
Yeah.
want out here.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
constantly reminded that our inner world is so fascinating. And I know sometimes people don't quite understand that because they haven't had that sensation or experience yet. But when you do spend time, not only in meditation, but in group circles like you provide, and Kundalini yoga and all of these things, and they must have some sort of experience with themselves that you go, holy shit, there's a lot to crack here. Like there's a lot to learn and a lot to uncover, right?
Yeah.
With just in our own being, right? And it's just fascinating. You don't have to go anywhere to have a journey. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Oh my God, Adera. It's so funny you just said that because I was supposed to go to Bali. I go to Bali for my birthday every March, and it just wasn't working out this year. And I really had to just sit in my own shit, and just be like, there's nowhere to go. Like paradise is here. Like what's bubbling up for me here right now? And I totally feel you. There's a tendency to always reach outward, and you start to feed that belief that I'm not okay the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I love doing gratitude practices, and I love doing all the practices that we do in the Nourished Woman, because you start to realize what a plethora of just juice and abundance is inside of the body right here, right now.
Totally.
You know?
Okay, so that's
Sorry.
so
That was a universe saying,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me a little bit about your Nourished Woman and the 2 courses that you have coming up. We'll just touch on that, and then maybe you could lead us into a little practice.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So on April 15th, Shakti Sisterhood Immersion begins. That's SSI. And it's on my website. And it's a beautiful 7-week online program where we go from the root to the crown. So every week we balance the masculine and the feminine. And honestly, Adera, a lot of this work is getting into the subconscious and the trance of worthlessness and the sense that I'm separate from the world. So I love the community containers because you can't hide. And we get to really go into the subconscious work. So the Shakti Sisterhood Immersion is powerful, a lot of deep shifts. That's April 15th to May 27th, 7-week program. I'm also throwing in a free 60-minute breakthrough session with each woman. So the program is probably worth $1,000, but I'm giving it for 444. The angel number is 444.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the in-person, so some people don't want to do this work online, and I get that. Usually the online is more for if you're not in Vancouver or you're kind of a little bit shy and you're new to the scene and you'd want to just practice semi on your own. So that's for the online. But if you're here in Vancouver and you're available for 7 Thursday nights from April 18th onwards, we are doing the same work, root to crown, but we're going to do it in Kitsilano in a temple space. Cool. And yeah, it's pretty intense and beautiful to connect with your sisterhood like that. So those are 2 options.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, you must create, as I know this feels like, you must create just these like sanctuaries or these like gorgeous, safe environments for women to really unfold and blossom into the woman that they are inside. It's just that we have all these barriers that don't let us see that often.
100%. 100%. You got to create safety. You got to create the sacred space, and then we can really start to show up as who we truly are.
Beautiful. Okay, so how can we show up as who we truly are right now with something?
Right now, so we're going to use breath.
Okay,
we're
perfect.
Use breath, and the body is the temple. Body is moving temple. So we just tune into the intelligence of the body and see how your day unfolds. It's going to be a little bit different than when you're in your mind. So we'll just come to a nice tall seat and become aware of how the ground is supporting us. maybe just move around a little just to kind of shake the energy out, maybe just do a little shaking. So in our actual classes, we do full on 1 minute, like a Kundalini shake,
Nice.
but we'll just do this now just by shaking the energy out of the wrists. And we're just going to flutter the lips. Yeah, just get it out and maybe shrug the shoulders a bit. Yeah. And just move your booty on the ground, or if you're standing, just move your booty, shake your feet a bit, shake your knees. Beautiful. And then just starting to come back to stillness, closing the eyes. And we'll bring the fingers into the Gyan Mudra. Gyan means knowledge. So one finger is the individual small self, and the other finger is the cosmic self. So we're yoking the individual self with the cosmic self when we do this. So bringing those hands to the knees and just deepening the breath, bringing the energy down, 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 down into the ground. And when we do that deep, grand yogic breath, it's low chest, mid chest, and high chest. So we'll do that 3 times. Breathe in. Expand, expand, expand. Hold, hold. And we'll release like this. Down, down into the ground. And breathing up through the root. Breathe in. Expand, expand, and hold. And out through the mouth. All the way down to the core of the earth. And last time, breathing up all the way through the chakras, up into the third eye, up into the crown, feeling your whole energy expanding out around you. Hold, hold, and slowly out the mouth. Beautiful. Before we close, we'll just bring the hands together and rub our chi together, gathering the Mahaprana, and then letting the whole belly just drop as we're doing this, letting the whole belly and pelvis relax down into the ground. We're going to take our hands and cup them over our eyes. Deepening the belly, the breath into the pelvis, and just letting it all go. Out through the mouth, just with an audible sigh this time. One more time. Beautiful. And release.
That even just felt good.
And now welcome to your new life.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Abneet, for your time and energy and beauty and grace that you've shared with us in this past.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was my favorite to chat with you. And maybe we can talk about a collaboration down the road. I would love to work with you.
I'm so open to that. I know how important the embodiment work is for women, especially right now. So I'm down with that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to leave the links below for everyone to check out Abneet in more detail there of what she has to offer, and reach out anytime. She will answer any of your questions if you have. And thank you again, sister, for...
Thank you so much, Adera. I'm so grateful for this platform. More to come.
Yeah, more to come. Absolutely. Take care.